Hi, in today's video we are going to talk about the design process in StarFront. Now before you can actually start designing windows in StarFront, you need to understand the basic rules to follow. And to explain those rules to you, I'm going to do a simple example. What we want to design is the following. It's a simple casement window, 1200 millimeters wide by 1200 millimeters high, with a single top and opening sash in the top left hand corner and a fixed pane below that and a fixed pane to the right hand side. Now in order to put that design into StarFront, what we need to do is we need to split that design into two parts. First of all, we need to create what we call the frame. And secondly, we need to create the insert. Now, how do we determine which part of this design is the frame and which part of this design is the insert? Well, it's quite simple. The frame is all the way around the outside. And there I like to think of a picture frame. We all know what a picture frame looks like. And then any mullion or any transom that runs all the way from the one side of the frame through to the opposite side of the frame forms part of that frame. So here I have a mullion which runs from that one side of the outer frame all the way through to the other side. So that forms part of my frame. And this transom starts at this outer frame, but it doesn't run all the way through to the opposite side. It stops at that point. And for that reason, that transom does not form part of my frame. So, in order to make this design on StarFront, this would be our starting point. We would choose the following frame. We call this a 2x1 frame. And what we mean by a 2x1 frame is that this frame has got two horizontal divisions and one vertical division. Okay, then what we have to decide is what would we have to insert into this frame to create that following product. Now if I said to you, I've got an insert available, which is a top hang sash over a fixed pane of glass, and it includes that transom as part of that insert. You should be able to see quite simply that if I was to take that insert and insert it onto the left hand side of this frame, I would create that design. And that's how the design process works in StarFront. We start with an overall frame, we decide what insert has to be placed into that frame, we decide where that insert must be placed. For example, if it was placed on the left hand side opening, we would create that design. If I placed it on the right hand side of this frame, this insert, then I would create a similar design, but my sashes would be on the right hand side. Now it's important to remember that we are always viewing the design from the outside. And this is the standard convention for all architectural drawings, all window schedules. Anything you are working from a design point of view will be shown as from the outside. Alright. So, when I select this frame in StarFront, StarFront will label this horizontal dimension W1, this dimension W2, and the overall height H1. Now those dimensions, W1, runs from the outer edge of this frame to the center line of that mullion, and then from the center line of that mullion to the outer edge of that frame. And similarly, dimension H1 runs from the outer edge of that frame to the outer edge of that frame there. So when I want to make a design like this, I have just got that the overall width of this frame is 1200, so I'm going to assume that it's 600 and 600, and therefore I'm going to enter the dimension W1 as 600, and the dimension W2 as 600. I will then specify H1, which is now the overall height of this window, as the full 1200. In addition to labeling W1, W2 and H1, StarFront will also tell you that this is opening number 1 and opening number 2. And I use these opening numbers 1 and 2 to determine where that insert is going to be placed. So when I create this insert, I tell StarFront that I want this insert to be placed in opening number 1. I choose the specific insert, which is a top-up over a fixed pane, and that insert will automatically be placed into this opening. Now this insert has got dimensions x1, y1 and y2. And what happens is, as soon as I place this insert into this opening, that insert will automatically adjust in size such that it fits perfectly into that opening. What the program will also do is it will automatically make dimensions y1 and y2 equal. Now, y1 and y2, the total height of the sash, works out something like 1140 millimeters. It won't be your full height of 1200 because I have to take off the outer frame. So the program will make y1 say 570 and dimension y2 570 as well. So it will automatically position this transom in the center of that insert. Now sometimes that may not be what I want. For example, I might decide I want to create a window that looks more like this. Maybe a smaller top end. Okay, let's say that top end is only 300. Then what I would do is, once I've placed this insert into that opening, I would edit dimension y1. Let's make this 300. Okay, and then dimension 2 will adjust automatically to 840 or whatever it works out to be. Alright, so these dimensions can be manipulated, which adjusts the position of that transom. You will see dimension y1, it will not let you change dimension y1, because if you change y1, then the sash won't fit into that opening anymore. If I wanted to create a narrower sash in this direction, then I would have had to adjust my W1, which is specifying the position of this mullion, and then the overall width of that sash would adjust accordingly. Alright, so it's not that complicated. Why do we split these designs into a separate frame and insert? Well, let me explain that to you. For example, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the situation where I've got a single frame available, and this would be what we call a 2x2 frame. In other words, it's got 2 horizontal divisions, 2 vertical divisions, and using only one frame and only having one insert available. So the insert I'm going to give you is a single top and sash on its own. What different product combinations could I make with that one frame and that one insert? Well, I could make quite a bit. I could start off first of all with a frame where all the panels are fixed. I could take a frame that looks like this with sashes in the top. I could take that same frame with sashes on the left. I could take that same frame with sashes on the diagonal, etc. So what that means is I can basically take one frame and one insert and make about 16 different design combinations out of that. And that is necessary because now at least what we could do is we could write a cutting list for that one frame, we can write a cutting list for that one insert, and now we get automatically cutting lists out for all 16 of those different designs. So it was added to give us flexibility and to get the total number of configurations available in the program where it needs to be so that you've got the design capability you need. Right, but in StarFront we don't give you just one frame and one insert. we give you a whole range of frames and a whole range of inserts. So let's have a look at that range on a typical casement window. Alright, we would start with frames. Your first frame would be what we call a 1x1 frame. It's a simple frame of one horizontal division, one vertical division. Our next frame across would be a 2x1, and we go in the horizontal direction all the way up to 5 panels wide. Alright, in the vertical direction we would then get a 1x2, and in the vertical direction we go all the way to 4 panels high. So we go maximum of 5 panels wide and a maximum of 4 panels high. So if we take this across and we look at the biggest frame that we have available to us, it would be 5 panels wide by 4 panels high. Okay, so that represents the full range of frames that are available to you when you're trying to design, say, a casement window in StarFront. Also, we don't give you just a single top-hand sash. We would give you a top-hand sash next to a fixed pane. We give you a top-hand sash next to another top-hand sash. We'll give you a top-hand sash over a fixed pane. A top-hand sash over another top-hand sash. Even 2 top-hand sashes over a fixed pane. These aren't all the inserts, there are other inserts available as well. But you have a range of inserts and a range of frames. And by taking that combination of frame and insert, following the rules I spoke about a little while ago, you can create virtually any design that you need in StarFront. So if you were to imagine, if I was to take this insert and put it into this opening on this frame, this would represent a fairly big window. Probably bigger than you will ever need. In fact, most of the time, if I just fill in this next design, which would be my 2x2 frame, most of the time, your majority of casement windows are going to be done just utilizing those first couple of frames. But we give you all of these frames so that if you do have an unusual design, you can cope with that design. Alright, so we get drummed into our head that the maximum width of the frame is 5 panels, the maximum height of the panel is 4. So of the frame is 4 panels. So you need to design the following window. Okay, let's say it has got a top-hand sash there and a top-hand sash there. Now, you look at that design and you say to yourself, well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 horizontal panels. And StarFront only goes to a maximum of 5 horizontal panels, so that's not going to work. Well, you can still do that very easily in StarFront, because every panel can still be split up further with 1, 2, or 3 mullions, or 1, 2, or 3 transoms on that design. So one possible way of doing that design would be the following. I would make my frame look like this. Okay, so I've got a 4x1 frame, which is well within the range that we have available. What I would do is in the first panel, I would put a top-hand sash. In the last panel, I would put a top-hand sash. And then in these two intermediate panels, all I will do is I will put in a mullion. And there I get that exact same design. It's got 6 panels wide, but it falls very easily in the range available in StarFront. So this limitation of 6 panels wide by 6 panels high is not really a restriction on your design ability. You can design a lot more than just the 5 panels wide by 4 panels high. In fact, because each panel can be divided with 1, 2 or 3 mullions and 1, 2 or 3 transoms, you can actually go to 20 panels wide by 16 panels high. And that should be more than enough for most needs. Alright, so let's look at another example. Let's look at a shopfront example. So the shopfront that I want to design looks as follows. Because it's a shopfront, it's going to have a sill at the bottom. And I'm going to create a panel there, create a top light. What I'm going to do is put a double hinge door in the middle here. I'm going to split this panel with 2 sashes. I'm going to split this panel with 2 sashes. And the panel above the door, I'm just going to split it in half. So let's say the dimensions are 900, 1800, where the door is going to go, 900 for this side light, 600 for the top light, and 2 meters 100 where the door goes. Right, so how do we do that design on StarFront? Well, the process is exactly the same. We need to split that design into a frame and then work out what inserts are required into that frame. So what is the frame we're going to use? Alright, the frame first of all is all the way around the outside, and because I'm choosing a shop front, it automatically will include the sill on that frame. Then I must check what mullions run all the way through from the one side of the outer frame right to the other side. This first mullion doesn't run through, so it doesn't form part of my frame. This mullion runs from the one side all the way through to the other side, so it forms part of my outer frame. This mullion here, from that point to that point, it is a mullion, and from there to here, that line is actually representing the meeting style of those 2 doors. If that line was a mullion, then when I open my doors, I'd have a mullion right in the middle of my doorway, which is obviously not what I want. So that mullion does not run through. This mullion, however, runs through from the one side to the other. So I can put that mullion in from the one side to the other. Alright, now let's have a look at the transoms. There is only one transom, and that transom runs all the way through from the one side of the frame to the other. Now yes, I realize that I can't have both the mullions as one continuous piece of material and the transom. I'm going to have to choose which is going to be broken up, and that is the choice of whether I've got mullions continuous or transoms continuous. On this situation, let's assume that my mullions are continuous, so I'd have 2 mullions and my transom would be broken into 3 separate pieces to fit between those mullions. Alright, so what StarFront will do is it will give us this as dimension W1, W2, W3. This would be dimension H1 and dimension H2. This would be opening number 1, opening number 2, opening number 3, opening 4, opening 5, and opening 6. So that would be our frame reference drawing. This would be what we call a 3 by 2 frame. In other words, it's got 1, 2, 3 horizontal divisions, and it's got 2 vertical divisions. Alright, so now we need to decide, first of all, what our dimensions are. That's quite simple. Dimension W1 is going to be 900. Dimension W2, which is the overall width, it's not only just half of that, is going to be the full 1800. Dimension W3 is going to be 900. Height 1 is going to be 600. And height 2 is going to be 2 meters 100. Right, now we need to decide what inserts are going to go into those openings. It doesn't matter the sequence in which you put those inserts in. You don't have to start at opening 1 and work through to opening 6. You can put your inserts in any sequence. And normally what you would do is you'd put your door in first. So what I do is I say, okay, in opening number 5, that defines where the door is going to go. You choose your insert. In this case, I choose a double hinge door. and that double hinge door, because it's a shop front, will have its sill as well. StarFront will label this as dimension X1, dimension X2, and dimension Y1. And as soon as I put that insert into this opening, that insert will automatically be shown on the screen in that position there. And dimensions X1 and X2 and Y1 are automatically going to be set correctly. When it starts off, dimensions X1 and X2 are going to be equal. In other words, the two door leaves are going to be the same size. But if you wanted to make a door with an unequal door leaf, you could simply edit one of those dimensions, press tab, and the program will automatically set the second dimension for you. Alright, so that is my door. Now I need to go and put my sashes in. So I say into opening number 1. The insert I'm going to use is a top-hung sash next to another top-hung sash. Alright, and I would put that into opening number 1. So the program will then show my two top-hung sashes in that position. I add the same insert for opening number 3, which is my two top-hung sashes. So that will then put my two top-hung sashes into that position there. And then all I need to do now is I need to split this top panel, opening number 2, with a mullion. So you choose opening number 2, and into that you insert just a single mullion. And what that will do for you is that will insert a mullion in that position. And that's all I have to do. I don't need to do anything with these panels 4 and 6. When I create the frame, that frame automatically has the glass in all of the panels. It has the corresponding beads, butterfly, wedge, even the glass setting blocks are all automatically there. When I put an insert into an opening, it actually takes that glass bead gaskets out of that opening and then puts your insert into that opening. So you can see the process of design in a shop front follows the exact same rules as design in a casement window. You decide what is your basic frame, which is around the outside, any mullions or any transoms that run all the way through. Remember, we only take mullions and transoms into that decision for the overall frame. We don't take meeting styles and interlocks and sashes into consideration. And then once I have my overall frame, I just decide what inserts I've got to go into that frame to create the design that I want. Okay, so it's really not that complicated, guys. I'm going to just show you one other thing. Sometimes there is more than one way to achieve a particular design. So let's say I'm asked to design a typical side light. And this side light has got two top-hung sashes. Okay, it's 900 wide, it's 2 meters 100 high. Now, if I design that strictly according to the rules in StarFront, I'll get the following. I would say my frame is all the way around the outside. Okay, I have two transoms that run all the way through from the one side to the other, so those two transoms form part of my frame. Alright, I would then enter in my dimension X or W1, which is going to be 900, and I would have to specify these dimensions. So let's say I want to make the top sash 600, the next sash 600, and the bottom panel 900. And then into opening, this will become opening 1, 2, and 3. Into opening 1, I'd insert a top hung, and into opening 2, I'd insert a top hung. Now that's your traditional way of designing in StarFront. There's nothing wrong with this, except that I have to manually specify the position of those transoms. I could achieve that exact same design. This was done with what we call a 1x3 frame. It had one horizontal division, 3 vertical divisions. I could do that exact same design starting with a 1x1 frame. Okay, and by starting with the 1x1 frame, I would put in my dimension, my overall width to be 900, my overall height to be 2 meters 100. Okay, And then I would put in a single insert. And that insert is 2 top-hung sashes over a fixed panel. What is the advantage of doing it this way? Well, I do not need to specify the position of those transoms. StarFront will automatically put those transoms in a position such that all 3 of those panels are the same size. But there is an option that I can use to set these sashes to a standard height, which means if I've got lots of windows lined up next to each other and I'm looking from the side, I can achieve all my transoms to be exactly in line with each other. But that's a topic for a more advanced course. For the time being, all you need to know is take your design, split it into the basic frame, work out what inserts have got to go into that frame, and you achieve your design. Once again, guys, thank you. I appreciate your time. Please stay safe, stay happy, and we'll see each other tomorrow for another lesson. Thank you.